Good day, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I am your host, the voice of reason. And yes, today we are continuing our lessons in insanity. And specifically, we are continuing to look at the ongoing investigation into the assassination of the former president of the United States. Now, there is a lot of criticism being directed towards the director of the Secret Service. Now look, you have to understand that this Kim Cheadle, who runs the Secret Service, was beyond a shadow of a doubt brought in by Joseph Biden to convert the Secret Service into a bastion of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Beyond a shadow of a doubt. That was her primary goal. She has stated her primary goal is to increase the amount of women or females in the Secret Service up to 30% or higher. That was the goal when she took the reins of the Secret Service. The primary goal: increase females by 30%. Even if that means there are thousands of higher qualified males that would probably do a much better job. Her mandate was to make the Secret Service 30%, at least 30% female. Now look, as I've said before, I have worked for an agency in which the goal was 50% female. 50%. Now, for some of you that have worked in highly kinetic roles, highly kinetic law enforcement fields, where the propensity for violence is high, you know what I'm talking about in terms of what happens when you bring females into these roles, whether it is a combat infantry unit. Now look, there are some good qualified women that can do the job. But I will say, based on my experience and the experience of others, the majority in high kinetic roles where there is a propensity for violence, the majority are not fit for that role. It's just the way I see it, based on my experience and the experience of talking to others in these roles. Kinetic roles. Now, additionally, she is getting a lot of flack about the sloped roof comment. And this is just another add-on to what happened. Look, the sniper's position should have been covered. Donald Trump should have never been shot. It should have never happened. This is a basic security protocol on an event that was not very tough to operate. There was not a lot of elevated positions that were a threat at that locale, and it should have been covered. And if you listen to Kim Cheadle talk about, we don't place agents in sloped roofs, while directly to the right of Donald Trump was a counter sniper position on a sloped roof. So what she is saying doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But look, please, you have to understand, her role when she was brought in by Joseph Biden was to convert and politicize the Secret Service. People are saying, well, she was a longtime Secret Service employee, that she came from the Secret Service. She actually didn't. She worked at the Secret Service, and yes, she was a special agent, but she actually came from security, running operational security for Pepsi Cola. So it's not like she was a Secret Service personnel that was eventually made and put in that position. She left the Secret Service, took a very high-paying role within corporate America, and then was brought back in because she was actually on the protective detail, the original protective detail of Joseph Biden. He knew her politics. They've probably had conversations at one point. Biden's team knew her. So again, it wasn't like she was an existing Secret Service person. She wasn't in the Secret Service at the time of her appointment. She was working in the private sector. She was brought in. Now look, that's not something that's uncommon, but it's something that I think is worth mentioning. But the biggest issue, again, is she was brought in to DEI the Secret Service. Politicize and convert the Secret Service. And that's what she was doing. That's what she was doing. So, very interesting as this investigation continues. Now, the left here in the United States is talking about the fact that when Donald Trump got on his feet after being shot in the head or through the ear, he said, "Fight, fight, fight." I want to play for you a montage of things that the left has said over the course of the last few years. Here we go.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator.
You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Enemies of the state.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Do something about your dad's immigration practices, you feckless.
When they go low, we kick.
How do you resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck?
The biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized right up to the right.
I thought he should have punched him in the face. I said, even if you lost, he insulted your wife.
Yes.
He came down the escalator and called Mexicans rapists and murderers. He said, well, what do you think I should have done? I said, I think you should have punched him in the face and then gotten out of the race. You would have been a hero.
I'd like to punch him in the face. I said if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
Punch some people in the face!
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump, and that's a fact.
Look, as his character is stabbed to death.
Where is John Wilkes Booth when you need him?
I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
A Missouri state senator is under investigation by the Secret Service after saying she hopes President Trump is assassinated.
I will go and take Trump out tonight.
Well, there you go. That's it. Amazing. And that's just a little bit of what's out there. There is obviously a lot more. Most of you have had the opportunity to actually see that a lot more. And go check it out yourself. Additionally, as I've talked about before, and I'm going to bring this up again, the school systems here in the United States. The stuff that is being discussed in the school systems, be it grade school, be it college, be it university, indoctrination centers, is insane. It's crazy. And this is what created this environment for this Matthew Crook to become radicalized and take a shot at Donald Trump. Now look, I have to tell you, again, the attempt and just the utter lackadaisical performance or what could be a called for stand down by the Secret Service, you have to ask, did that actually happen? It's a valid question. I mean, for the life of me, as I continue to look at the scene of the shooting and the areas around the podium within 500 yards, that building should have been covered. And again, the question is, why wasn't it? Now, we may never get the answer to that. We may never get the answer to that. But it's incredibly disconcerting. And as I've said before, just a couple of millimeters, and this country is in a different state. Completely different state. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know how bad it would get. But it would then call into the question about the actual election. Who would the United States then vote for? And then I got to tell you as well, right now, a lot of folks believe that Donald Trump is a shoo-in. A lot of folks are saying that, hey, this assassination attempt, and how he conducted himself right after the attempt has locked in the election. I would say hit the brakes. Hit the brakes. I am by no means convinced that right now, here in the United States, this United States, we are operating under a system of free and fair elections. The country has been contaminated. And it continues to be contaminated. And there's many reasons for that. One of those reasons is what we are allowing into the country, and then two, the actual voting process. The ability to have these mail-in ballots. I am not sold that Joseph Biden received 81 million legitimate votes during the last election. So if they did it before, they can do it again. The left does not want to lose power. They don't want to. So the question is what's next? What's going to happen next? Something else is going to happen. Now, is that something else a war? Is it additional assassination attempts? We don't know. But I guarantee it, something else is going to happen. Absolutely. So again, continue to do your research. Do your due diligence. Look into Miss Kim Cheadle. Why she was there. How she got there. What her policies were. And most importantly, this investigation in terms of what happened that day, what happened in regards to the assassination attempt, has to be reviewed. Something smells really bad. Really bad. That's all we have. As always, thank you for joining us. Have a good day.